Hi, my name is Chris and this is Battle Nonsense. If you are following me on Twitter, Google+, or Facebook, then you already know that during this week I have released 3 different design proposals for Battlefield 4. One is about the in-game chat and the text feed. Another one is about the placement and the presentation of the flags in the HUD. And then I've done another one which is about the com rows and attack rows. The feedback I've got from you and from DICE was very positive. So as these proposals are already in a state where I think that I don't have a lot of further changes to them, I thought that I do a few videos and show them to you here on my channel. And I think the best way to start this here is by having a look at the proposal for the in-game chat and the text feed. The in-game chat in Battlefield 4 is one of the very few PC exclusive features. So when I press K on my keyboard, I will be able to write a message only my team members will be able to see. When I press enter, the text field will disappear and the message gets sent. And when I press J on my keyboard, then I will be able to write a message everyone on the server can read. And as you can see, I always have a cursor on my screen when I'm typing something into this text field. But that cursor is pretty useless because I can't click anywhere. So what kind of problems do we have in the chat? Well, the biggest problem is that it does not have a history. This means that once you have 7 lines of text in the chat, it is full. Once the next line comes in, the first line, the topmost line, will be deleted. This means that you have absolutely no chance to get back to that message because there is no history, there is no scroll bar in the chat. What makes it even worse is that server administrators love to use tools which automatically put in predefined messages into the in-game chat. That's in example server rules, but also advertising for their clans. The next problem is that DICE decided to include the text feed into the chat. So attack or defend orders from your squad leader, or if someone requests ammo, needs a ride, or says something else through the com rows, then this will show up inside the chat. And all this will cause that the messages that players write into the chat get buried even faster. So these design issues make the chat pretty useless. And that's also most likely the reason why most of the players seem to have it disabled for the entire round, and only go to the chat to type in "good game" at the end of the round. Now let me show you my design which should get rid of all these problems. So what I'm going to do now is overlay my proposal in this captured video. Everything you see now is from my proposal and not in-game. I've been using the maximum HUD size of 100% when I created these designs. I have done that to be sure that the elements do fit into the HUD when it is at its maximum size. This means that the elements already look quite big at the moment. So most players are not playing at 100%. In fact, I don't know anyone who uses such a gigantic HUD. So in real life, if this change gets implemented, keep in mind that by reducing the HUD size, the elements will all get smaller and you have more space on your screen. So at a first look, it doesn't look really that much different. The chat is pretty much the same as it is right now in the game. What is different in this screen is that I have taken out the text feed from the chat and placed it below. So even if you have your chat disabled, you will still be able to see attack orders from your squad leader. You see if someone near to you needs a medkit or a revive or something else. This means that non-verbal communication through the com rows will now be efficient again, because players will always see those messages on their screen, even if they have the chat disabled or hidden. Now, what if I press K on my keyboard to write a message for my team? Now, this looks very different to what we know from the in-game chat from Battlefield 4 we have right now. So let's begin at the top. As you can see on the right side of the chat, you now have a scroll bar. This means the chat has a history. So if you can no longer see a message directly inside the chat, you can just scroll back and still read it. The Battlefield 4 chat already has the functionality to define who can read a message you are writing. You can do so by using the letter J for all, K for team, and L for squad. But what if you are not interested in messages that everyone can read on the server? Messages that are written when someone uses the J button on his keyboard. What if you only want to see messages that are written by players when they use the K button on their keyboard, when they write it for their team? Or what if you are only interested in messages that are coming from your squad members when they press the button L to write a message? What is needed to get that functionality is a filter system. And I've added this here by introducing the read options. So when you press the all button, the chat will pretty much work like it already does. There will be no filtering. When you select the team option for read, then the chat will hide all messages that were written when someone used the J key to write for everyone on the server. So if someone from the other team will write with using the all option, then you will no longer see this in your chat. What you will also see are messages that are coming from your commander. And if you select the squad option for read, then you will only see messages your squad members have been writing when they used the L key on their keyboard. Of course, messages from the commander will also still show up. The next element is the text field, and I think that I don't have to explain what you need to do here. You just type your message. So by using the J, K and L keys, you can set who will be able to read your message. J is for all, K is for team and L is for squad. Now, what happened to me a few times is that I've been pressing the wrong button, and a message that was only meant for my team, like tactical advice, was available for everyone on the server to read. So to avoid that, I decided to add another option below the text box. As you can see, team is currently selected. This means that I've been using the K button on my keyboard to open the chat. But if I've pressed K by accident and actually want to use L, then I would have to close the chat and then open it again. Instead, I can move the mouse cursor over to squad, press it, and then the message I'm writing will be sent to my squad only. So by introducing a history into the chat, we now have solved the problem that messages get buried over time, and that you can no longer access them. By moving the text feed out of the chat and placing it below, we ensured that even if we have the chat disabled, the non-verbal communication from the com rows is still functioning. And with the introduction of filters, you are now able to efficiently communicate with your team members or your squad members to organize your gameplay. However, those filters do leave us with a problem. How do you know if you have a filter enabled? So I could have added a text somewhere which said all, team or squad, or I could have added some fancy icon. However, I decided that it's the best solution to simply go with the color. So if you have set the read option to team, then you will see that blue bar on top of the chat. If you set it to squad, then the bar on top of the chat will change to green. And if you are using the all option for read, then there won't be a bar at all. So in my opinion, this is a very clean and elegant solution to show you which filter option, which read option you have currently active. And this final touch concludes the proposal. If you want to have a look at the design document, then have a look at the description where I've put the download link. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, the feedback for this proposal has been very positive, both from the community as well as from DICE LA. A change like I am proposing it here would surely be in the scope of what can be done inside the CTE for Battlefield. If the feature ever will get done, well, we don't know. However, if the developers and the studios see that there's a big demand in the community for a specific change, then this will surely be a motivation to get it done. So if you like my proposal and want to support it, then have a look at the description where I'm linking to a topic on Reddit and a topic in Battlelog in the CTE forums. And that's the end for this video. The next one about the other proposals will follow soon. If you want to reach me, you can do so by email, Twitter and on Facebook. If you like my content, then please consider to hit the subscribe button, and I might see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and take care. My name is Chris, and this was Battle Nonsense.